Hello, I'm Dr. Beech, and the purpose of this video is to talk about Marma therapy. This is an introduction to home Marma therapy through the Transdermal Marma System as developed by Vaidya Mishra. And this video is a little in-depth, more in-depth than just the basic home Marma video that I made, but I want to go into it a little bit, so for those of you who would like to understand more about Marmas, this should help a little bit. So the purpose of Marma therapy is to enhance the reception and flow of prana while cleaning the pranic channels of polluted energy. Prana is the bioelectric energy of life that's both internal and external to our physical body. Prana is the intelligence of nature, and therefore enhancing the reception and flow of prana through the body improves our connection to nature's intelligence. It connects our individual intelligence with cosmic intelligence. There are three types of pranic energy. Soma, which comes from the moon, it's stable, cooling, and lubricating. Agni, which comes from the sun, it's transforming, heating, and drying. And Marut, which is the etheric space that balances both the Soma and the Agni. It's the balancing factor between Soma and Agni. We receive the cooling and stabilizing Soma from the moon. We receive the heating and transforming Agni energy from the sun, and we receive the Marut through the etheric space around us. Our body is full of channels. Each channel has a specific function and design. There are channels for food, blood, oxygen, waste products, etc. And these physical channels are called shrotas in Ayurveda. There's hundreds of thousands of shrotas in the body, different channels. Microcellular channels, digestive channels, lymphatic channels, so on and so forth. Likewise, we have vibrational channels also that are unseen, invisible channels that are designed to carry the pranic intelligence of nature. And these channels are called nadis. Now, since there are three types of pranic energy, there are also corresponding nadis designed to carry that specific energy. Thus, there are Soma nadis, Agni nadis, and Marut nadis. Ayurveda describes 72,000 nadis exiting from the navel area that deliver the pranic intelligence to every cell, tissue, and organ of the body. Like any channel, the nadis are present to allow for reception, flow, distribution, and elimination. Now, since we now understand what prana is and how it's transported through the nadis, we can move on to understanding the marmas. We said there are three kinds of nadis corresponding to each type of prana. When there's an intersection of all three nadis, that point is called a marma point. And thus a marma point on our body allows us to access all three types of nadis and therefore all three types of pranic energy. There are 107 marma points in the body. Each point corresponds to the flow of prana in various parts of our body. Thus, marma points are for the reception of prana, some are for the delivery of prana to a cell, tissue, or organ, and others are designed for the elimination of used prana. As mentioned, the nadis are present to allow for reception, distribution, and elimination. In this case, these channels are invisible to the naked eye and exist only to carry that subtle vibrational intelligence of nature. However, just like a physical channel, the nadis can become obstructed by a very special type of vibrational toxin. Indra Vajra Bijanya Vishra, the destructive effect of God's thunderbolt. So this type of toxin that accumulates in the nadis, and it's the thunderbolt of Indra, the king of the gods. That's the ancient term for what we today would call electromagnetic fields. These EMFs are highly charged and can overload the nadis, reducing the flow and reception of prana. EMF toxins are hot and even burning. So the intense vibration of electrons in the EMF can directly stimulate the liver, causing it to dilate and release an acidic toxin known in Ayurveda as amvisha. That means poisonous toxin. Modern science calls amvisha oxidation or free radicals. Thus, the vibrational EMF toxin can stimulate the release of physical reactive toxins in the body. So there's that connection between the vibrational body and the physical body. The Transdermal Marma System treatment cleans the EMF toxins from the vibrational pranic channels and thus helps to alkalize the physical body as well by reducing that acidity being released from the liver. Now, let's go into the theoretical aspects of Vaidya Mishra's Transdermal Marma System, like what it is and how it works. TMS, which means Transdermal Marma System, is an authentic and practical combination of the science of Marma, Transdermal Ayurveda, it means across the skin, aromatherapy, touch therapy, and mantra therapy. Therefore, Marma therapy is a combination of transdermal creams, aromatherapy, touch therapy, and sound or mantra therapy. That's the Transdermal Marma System. So Marma points are like switches that control the flow of prana to different organs and tissues of the body. Marmas receive and distribute prana to our systems, organs, tissues, etc. The knowledge of Marma involves how to enhance the flow and reception of prana and the release of used prana, that bioelectric energy. Ayurveda has recognized the transdermal delivery system for thousands of years. The concept of Brachika Pitta, which is a subdosha of Pitta dosha, is there to explain the process of absorption through the skin, transformation through the skin. Brachika Pitta is described as the ability of the skin to transform or cook whatever it contacts and absorb it into the body. According to Shaka Vansya Ayurveda, the components of aromatherapy are that the aroma should be filled with pleasure and totally blissful, that aroma is very fast due to its tiny molecular size and weight, aroma is agreeable, and aroma is smooth and gentle. Most essential oils pass through the barrier of the skin and can be detected in exhaled air within 20 to 30 minutes, meaning if you put a very pure essential oil on the skin like lavender, it's coming out the lungs within 20 to 30 minutes. That's how fast it goes through the system. So aromatherapy makes the products more powerful and effective because it enhances the delivery of the prabhava or vibrational intelligence of the herbal ingredient to the targeted tissue. So it enhances, in a sense, you would say bioavailability, but this is on a vibrational level. In Ayurveda, this is called a yoga vahi. Space, or akasha, gives rise to the element of air, vayu, and this is associated with the sense of touch. Thus, proper touch, or sparsha it's called, means touch, is a powerful tool to enliven the marut prana in the marma point. The skin is the seat of touch. Proper touch of the skin, in the proper way, can enhance the reception and flow of marut predominant prana and pacify vata dosha in the body. Marut is the balancing factor for Agni and Soma. So let's look at how we apply the transdermal creams. We use the fourth finger of either hand. The touch, as I described, should be very, very light, almost like you're trying to just tickle the hairs on the skin. And the cream is always applied in a clockwise circle 7 times to the point. Now, to avoid confusion about direction of clockwise, always think of putting a watch on that marma point. So wherever the marma point is on the body, maybe it's here, maybe it's here, here, wherever it is, think of just putting a watch on that point. When you put a watch, that's the direction the watch is going, because clockwise on the back of my hand and clockwise on the front of my hand are 2 completely different directions. This method keeps the clockwise motion very simple in our minds. Do the marma therapy in a quiet area with no disturbances. Turn off the TV, radio, computer, not only to minimize distractions, but also to reduce the EMF toxins that we're absorbing from those devices. So there are different creams that we use for marma therapy. One of them that we use a lot is DGL cream. And you can, DGL means deglycerized licorice. And it's very opening to the channels without heating them. And it's also binding to Amavisha in the system. So where do we apply the DGL cream? We apply DGL cream to the Marma Points on the soles of the feet, which are right here, and the palms of the hand. Now, just so that it's not confusing, think about the palm of the hand for a minute. You have the area right beneath the fingers, those padded areas, which are the palm side of the knuckles. And then if you just take your finger and slide off of that area, then you'll come to the palm, right in the center there, okay? And that would be the Marma point on the hand. Think of the feet the same way. So you have the toes, and then you have that padded area, which are the other sides of the knuckles of the toes, so to speak, metatarsals they're called. And then if you just slide down, you'll find that there's a little depression right here. And that depression is the Marma point on the bottom of the feet. Okay. For the point on the top of the head, this is called the Adipati Marma right here. Let's put it in maybe in red, like that, or whatever. Right on top of the head. The way to find that easily is to just put the heel of the hand right on the bridge of the nose. And where that middle finger touches, that's the Adipati Marma. Okay, so we apply the cream in the morning and in the evening. Do it in a clockwise direction, like we said with the mantra. Do the hands and then the feet, and then finally the top of the head. These points on the hands and the feet are for the release of used prana, and then this is for the reception of prana into external prana into the body. So we're opening up those channels to release, and then we put it on the top of the head for the reception of prana. So let's look at where these points are located. So these points on the hands and the feet are called the Tala Hridaya Marmas, and they are connected with the heart. And these 4 points are for the elimination of used prana. They're the most commonly treated points, and you should do it twice a day in the morning and evening with the DGL cream. Treat them before you do the crown of the head, as I described before. And then we have this main marma, which is called Adipati Marma. That's the Maha Marma. This is where we receive prana. And all the other marmas are unaffected without this marma. It should also be treated in the morning and the evening. And you treat Tala Hridaya marmas first, as I said, the hands and the feet, and then the top of the head. And then lastly, I don't have a picture, but also treating the spine, putting the DGL cream on the whole spine from the top of the head all the way down to the bottom and just stroking downwards. This is treating what's called Shushumna Nadi. Shushumna means snake because the spine looks like a snake. And that's enhancing the flow of prana that's being received from the Adipati Marma to flow down through the whole spinal channel. The heart marma is called Hridaya. This is another marma point that's frequently treated at home morning and evening with Arjuna or Ashoka Transdermal Creams. It opens the heart lotus, and we have a whole nother presentation on Samadhi set that talks about this in more detail. Now, there are other marma points. We don't prescribe these at home as often as the previous ones, but I'll provide them here for your reference. Now, these couple of pictures that I'm going to show you now just kind of go over in general where these points are, but we'll look at them specifically. I'll just name the points real quick. This one's called Krikaraka at the top of the head, right at the top of the shoulder where people get so much tightness. It's called Ansa. And then right below that in the shoulder blade area where people also get tightness, called Ansa Falaka. Down at the SI joints, they're called Katik Taruna. And then in the thigh, Urvi in the front and back, Janu in the knee, and then the Tala Hridaya points we already mentioned. Here are the anterior points. There's one at the very top of the head. That's the third eye. It's called Ajna. In between the eyebrows, the Hapani. In the clavicle area, these points are a little off. They should be closer in, but called Manya. And then Ani, again, in the elbow, Urvi in the thigh, and Janu in the knee. So let's go through these points one by one. Krikaraka, that point connects to the adrenal glands, the blood vessels, and the joints. And if you feel the bump behind the ear, so if right behind the ear, there's a protuberance that's called the mastoid process. Sorry, I forgot. The mastoid process, and it's actually a sinus. There's a sinus there called the mastoid sinus. And if you just go inside from that bump, so internal, inside, you'll find there's a little soft area right beyond the point, and that's called krikataka. That soft indentation, it's often sore. It's a point where a lot of stress and toxins can accumulate. Headaches will usually occur when that point gets really sore. And so that point's on each side of the behind the ears. Ansa, so let's take a look at Ansa. Ansa would be this point here and here. Those 2 points right at the top of the shoulders. And you can feel them. There's a little dip there, and everybody knows those points. When somebody comes up and rubs your shoulders and you're sore in those muscles, in the trapezius muscle, that's Ansa. And this is a neuromuscular Marma point. It helps with the release of stress when we treat that point. Ansa Phalaka, which is here, is that point on the shoulder blades. It gets so tight. You can reach it. If you reach back right there, it's actually the insertion of a muscle called the levator scapulae, which lifts the scapula up. It's a very, very tight point because we're sitting all the time, raising our shoulders. It tends to get tight and accumulate toxins there. Then Katik Taruna, which is right here. That point is, if you look at the dimples that are in the back there, that's a point anatomically. It's a point called the posterior superior iliac spine. It's a protuberance there creating that dimple, and that is Katik Taruna Marma point. It's a very powerful point. It's associated with the genitourinary function and back pain. It provides prana to the kidneys. Ani is elbow, and so those 2 points are on either side of the elbow, just above the bone on both sides of the tendon. So if you bend your elbow, you can feel the tendon coming in the back here, and so it's on either side of that tendon. If you open your arm and just slightly bend it, you'll feel the tendon pop up, and it's on either side of that tendon there, just above the crease in the elbow. It's very easy to locate. Apply very gentle pressure because it can be painful. Urvi is in the thigh. You've noticed it's about two-thirds up from the knee before you get to the hip area up here. And that's in the front and in the back. Okay, and it governs the whole leg, supplies prana to the hips. And it's you can use more pressure than usual there. There's a specific condition called uru stam, that's coming from, uru means hip, so it means hip like a bamboo pole, and that point can be active when the hip gets stiff like that in uru stam. So this point is called janu, and with janu it means the knee, and so you can locate the point easily if you bend the knee. We'll look at the one in the front. Bend the knee, we have the kneecap here, and then from the kneecap you have a tendon that goes down. It's called the quadriceps tendon. That's attaching into a bone right here called the tibial tubercle. And right on either side of that tendon there's a depression, and that would be janu in the front of the knee. Now this picture is incorrect. I wasn't looking closely and I put the dots in the wrong place. The points on the back of the knee are directly behind the points on the front of the knee. So those points should be right here and not up at the top. They should be down at the bottom. So directly behind these 2 points that are in the front. And all knee problems start from this dimple in the back of the knee, and we use gentle pressure with those. Manya, 50% of the collarbone inside by the insertion of the scalenes. Basically, you can see where the clavicle is coming in here, and then There's the SCM muscle, which is here, and the scalene muscles are right there, right in between that area. It's a little dimple there. It's easy to find. That's called manya. And it governs the motility of the entire neck. Use gentle pressure there because that's a very delicate spot. Kant controls the throat. It controls respiratory functions. It connects the heart with the mind. We use it in the samadhi set quite a bit with Tulsi cream. So you can use Tulsi cream on that point for any sort of infection, respiratory problem, that type of thing. Also, Kanchanar is good on that point for thyroid problems. Stahapani is one of my favorite points. Stahapani is located right between the eyebrows there, just right there. And it's a very special point because it disconnects the mind from the senses. We use it during the samadhi set. It allows the mind to disconnect so that it allows the mind to calm down. It's a very, very nice point. And then the point right above it, which we all refer to as the third eye, that's up above in the forehead, and that connects the light, connects us to the light of the soul. And Vaidya said that we should just touch that point extremely lightly, almost like touching rice paper like that. Just very, very, very light. Now, do your Marma therapy every day. It's a hallmark of Shaka Vansya Ayurveda. We give this home Marma therapy treatment with DGL. I have another video that just explains that therapy just specifically. But the results with Marma therapy have always been positive, sometimes even miraculous, but they're always relaxing. And then for more information, you can contact us at that phone number and email address. Thank you very much.